Welcome to the Daily D, and today we are making my version of chocolate fudge. I know there's a million versions out there. This one is pretty simple. It just uses semi-sweet chocolate chips, sweetened condensed milk, icing sugar, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, and if you so choose, half a cup of chopped nuts. We don't usually put nuts in ours. I know there's versions where it's just chocolate chips and sweetened condensed milk, but my issue with that is that it's great in the fridge, but if it sits out for too long, you know, if you have a platter with different treats on it, the fudge gets awfully soft. This will stay perfectly shaped at room temperature. I used to make this fudge for all of my neighbors. We lived on a cul-de-sac, and I would give everybody a tin of this fudge at Christmas, and they absolutely loved it. They would come to me and say, "Oh, you know, can't wait for your fudge." And they would just keep it in the tin in their house and take pieces out if they so desire. So we're just going to put the 2 cups of chocolate chips in, I prefer a glass bowl. Now I usually use a smaller one than this, but we broke it, and I haven't been able to find another one that size so far. So this one is a bigger bowl than I need. So make sure and get all of the sweetened condensed milk out. Having little spatulas like this really helps. Okay, so once that's all out, all I do is give it a quick stir. And then I put it in the microwave oven for 45 seconds. I then take it out and keep stirring it. If there's little pieces of unmelted chocolate, then I put it back in for 15-20 seconds and keep doing that. So we're going to get this in the microwave, and I'll tell you exactly how long I had to cook it. So we'll be right back. Okay, so I wanted to show you what this was like after 45 seconds. And you're going to just want to stir this really good. And I know from experience that this is just a little too thick. And so I'm going to put it in for that extra 15 seconds. Okay, I put it in for another 15 seconds, and as you can see, there's no real chocolate lumps in there. Now you can use different varieties of chocolate chip. My traditional is semi-sweet, although I'm not a semi-sweet fan. And so right now what I'm going to do is add a teaspoon of vanilla and a pinch of salt and mix that in. And I'm just going to mix this just until everything is together, and I am going to get my spatula that I forgot to get, and I'll be right back. So I just needed my spatula just to scrape down the sides, make sure everything is incorporated. Okay, now I'm going to add the sifted icing sugar. So you can just get a strainer like this, put it in a big bowl, use a smaller one, and sift. Now if you sift and go like this, shake it, it takes forever. So I put the icing sugar in and then take something like this and put it through. If you don't sift it, what's going to happen is that your fudge will probably have little wee white bits in it, and people may wonder what the hell is in her fudge, or heck, sorry about that. So I'm going to add most of the icing sugar. I'm going to reserve some because depending on the temperature and humidity, it all affects how much you have to put in. Now you can use a spoon to do this part, but at some point you're going to have to get in there and use your hands. And since I have gloves on, I'm just doing it from the very beginning. And you're just going to incorporate all this sugar. Okay, this is just a little too soft for me, so I'm going to put in the rest of the sugar. I almost always put in the full amount, but I always start with less. So as you can see, it's like a little thicker. My hands aren't going down into it. And this is the point where I take it out of the bowl and I just start kind of kneading it with my hands, because if you keep it in the bowl, it might take forever to get rid of all the white sugar. And as I knead it, you'll notice it's starting to get a little shiny, and that's what you want. It's a great upper arm workout, by the way, especially when you make like 17 batches in a day. Okay, can you see the shine? I don't know whether you can, but once it starts getting shiny, you know it's together. And then I just put this in a loaf pan with wax paper. And I press it in. Now this will kind of solidify at room temperature. Okay, so if you just leave it out for a couple of hours, it eventually get stiffer, kind of. If you're in a hurry, you can put this in the fridge. The thing is don't leave it in the fridge too long, because when you go to cut it, it's going to be really difficult to cut, and it'll leave kind of like, you know, when you cut chocolate, kind of lighter colored lines. So I just wait until this is just firm, and then I take it out and I slice it, and it's done. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. I'll let you know how long I kept it in there, and we'll be back. Okay, this has been in the fridge about 40 minutes. It is still soft, but it has firmed up, and that's when you want to start cutting it. So that's why I use the wax paper, just so that it comes out, and you can see how easily it cuts. Now what I normally do is if I'm giving it to people, I just trim off these ends. We eat them. That's our part, but it cuts beautifully. It doesn't leave those lines like if you let it get too hard. And this can sit in an airtight container or tin. You don't need to refrigerate it, and it is absolutely addictive and delicious. Give it a try. I'll put the recipe below. Don't forget to check out our playlist of all of our recipes, because we have quite a few recipes up there now. Let me know if you try it. I'd be really interested. Thanks so much for watching, And until next time.